Download the My Hingham app today and report issues and get information on town government with ease. Available on the App Store and Google Play. You can submit service requests or gain information with just a few taps on your phone. Using the My Hingham app puts immediate access to town resources in the palm of your hand, including calendars of meetings and events, agendas for upcoming meetings, building permit filing options, online bill payment options, and info about our boards, committees, departments, and services. For more information, please scan the QR code on your screen.
All right, good evening. It is 6 o'clock on February 3rd, 2026.
Recording in progress.
This meeting of the Hingham Select Board is called to order. Going to know for the record that this meeting is being held in person and or remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 and all other applicable laws temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Is anyone recording tonight's meeting? Seeing none, I know for the record that participating in tonight's meeting are board members Liz Klein, Julie Straley, and Chair William Ramsey. For those who are willing and able, please stand and face the flag of our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. I believe we have one set of minutes to approve this evening. Liz, you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes dated January 20th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor, Liz?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is to proclaim February 7th, 2026 as Lincoln Day in the town of Hingham. So we're going to read into the record a proclamation. And Julie, I'll let you start us off.
Town of Hingham, Massachusetts, Lincoln Day Proclamation. Whereas the town of Hingham was settled in 1635 by a small band of Puritans, many of whom came from Hingham, England, and environs. And whereas among the descendants of those original settlers were two famous American public figures who shared the common family name Lincoln, as well as a common heritage. And
Whereas it is a long-standing Hingham tradition to honor and celebrate their birthdays. General Benjamin Lincoln, a lifelong Hingham citizen and a hero of the American Revolution, and Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president and the towering figure of the Civil War. And whereas we honor and celebrate the lives and deeds in all their complexity of the two Lincolns because of the incredible legacy of civic engagement and community building they have left for us.
And whereas in the semi-quincentennial year, 2026, when we commemorate 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, we pay special honor to our citizens, those famous like Benjamin Lincoln and Abraham Lincoln, and those unknown to history who worked in myriad ways to build and sustain this wonderful community of Hingham and the broader communities of state and nation. And whereas the preservation of community is a perpetual task in which each generation must fully participate. Now, therefore, we, William C. Ramsey, Elizabeth F. Klein, and Julie M. Straley, Select Board of Hingham, do hereby proclaim Saturday, February 7th, 2026, as Lincoln Day. Finally, we urge each citizen, as we celebrate America's 250th, to take to heart the examples of the two Lincolns and those of 4 centuries of Hingham citizens. And we urge each citizen to participate in some concrete way in the strengthening and preservation of this community of Hingham and the broader communities of state and nation for the generations, which will succeed us. Given under our hands and seal of Hingham this third day of February 2026, signed William C. Ramsey, Chair, Elizabeth F. Klein, and Julie M. Straley. And with that, I will take a motion.
I'll make a motion to proclaim February 7th, 2026 as Lincoln Day in the town of Hingham.
Second.
All those in favor, Julie?
Aye.
Liz?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is proclaim the month of February as Black History Month in the town of Hingham. And why don't we do the same order, Julie? If you don't mind starting us off, that'd be great.
Okay. Town of Hingham, Massachusetts, Black History Month proclamation. Whereas Black History Month was first celebrated nationally in 1976 during the United States bicentennial, and whereas Black History Month has a rich cultural history throughout the United States, symbolizing the enduring strength and significance of civil rights pioneers, including Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Phyllis Wheatley, and Frederick Douglass. And
Whereas the Commonwealth must continue to move towards equality, recognizing the barriers faced by the Black community and addressing structural racism and social, political, and economic inequalities. And whereas Black History Month is an opportunity to recognize the many contributions and achievements by Black leaders and members of the community to the Commonwealth throughout the course of their history from Massachusetts natives like W.E.B. Du Bois and Ruth M. Batson.
And whereas Black History Month is a time to celebrate and acknowledge the significant history and contributions of the Black community throughout the Commonwealth and the United States, as well as to bring awareness to the challenges faced by the Black community and the methods in which they have tirelessly worked to conquer such adversity. Now, therefore, we, William C. Ramsey, Elizabeth F. Klein, and Julie M. Straley, Hingham Select Board, do hereby proclaim February 2026 to be Black History Month and urge each citizen to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given under our hands and seal of Hingham this third day of February 2026, signed William C. Ramsey, Chair, Elizabeth F. Klein, and Julie M. Straley. With that, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to proclaim February as Black History Month in the town of Hingham.
second.
All those in favor, Liz?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is to appoint Lieutenant Darren McAdams as a special police officer for the town of Hingham. Do we have Deputy Chief O'Shea on the line?
I just promoted him.
Go ahead. Deputy Chief O'Shea, how are you tonight?
Good, how are you doing? Sorry, I disappeared there for a moment, but went back. Thank you for having me on tonight. I'd like to appoint Darren McAdams, who's been a lieutenant with our department for 32 years, and will be retiring on the 18th as a special police officer.
Well, if Darren or the McAdams family is listening tonight, I want to congratulate him on his retirement. You said how long? 38 years?
32. So
32
we get
years,
32 years on January 24th.
He's been an integral part of the police department and our community, and I congratulate him on his well-deserved retirement and happy to support his appointment as a special police officer. Liz?
No questions, just congratulations to Lieutenant McAdams and happy to support as well.
Julie?
No questions, but I echo my congratulations.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Darren McAdams as a special police officer for the town of Hingham effective February 18th, 2026 through October 31st, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor, Julie?
Aye.
Liz?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Motion carries unanimously. Deputy Chief O'Shea, good to see you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care. Next item on the agenda is to consider the request from Weber Development LLC, doing business as Scarlet Oak Tavern, 1217 Main Street, to amend their entertainment license. Do we have Kenny Robichaud? Yes. Mr. Robichaud, if you can come up just to the lectern and just state your name and position and ask us what you want us to do tonight.
Sure. My name's Kenny Robichaud. I'm the general manager of Scarlet Oak Tavern, and I was looking to expand my entertainment license to Wednesdays. It goes from, I have it on Thursday, Friday, and I can have it on Saturday, although I don't. I was hoping, because of the weather that we've had we had such good weather last summer, but the summer before we had a lot of rain. So I didn't even get half the season in. So I was hoping that the Wednesday would give me an opportunity to have more music on the patio. So.
Great. Tom, any concerns expressed by the police department about this request?
No, none.
Great.
Do you have anything in your packet?
Sure.
I have the application.
I don't have the
Sharon,
application.
just put it in the folder.
Okay.
If you want, what you could do is take a vote contingent on what you expect it to be, and then have me verify that that's what's in the application, or you can put it off to you.
What do you want to do?
I mean, I'm familiar with Scarlet Oak Tavern. I don't know of any issues. I haven't heard any complaints from neighbors. Certainly, the entertainment is a nice addition, so I'm comfortable if you are confident, Tom, that the application is complete and we have what we need.
The application, I guarantee you, will mirror what the expectation here is.
Okay. I'm comfortable moving forward.
Okay. Julie, any questions or concerns?
No questions or concerns.
All right. Do any members of the public have any questions on this agenda item? Okay. If you're comfortable going forward, I'll take a motion.
Are you okay moving forward?
I am, yeah, I
Okay.
am, yeah. I'm familiar with the restaurant.
Okay.
I'm up there a lot. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the request from Weber Development LLC, doing business as Scarlet Oak Tavern, 1217 Main Street, to amend its entertainment license to include Wednesday, in addition to the already approved Thursday through Saturday, for a live band of not more than 5 performers playing contemporary music from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor, Liz,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Motion carries unanimously. Best of luck.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming in. I appreciate it. All right, we next move in our agenda to FY27 departmental budget request. We're going to start with the South Shore Country Club. We have Kevin Whalen with us and George Kay, who's the chair of the committee. So come on up, Kevin and George, have a seat. See you
We
guys
also
again.
have Chris Riley is on Zoom, the golf professional.
Excellent.
Want me to promote him?
Sure, if you don't mind. Thank you.
So we're here tonight to request $2,455,456 for our FY '27 budget. And as we go through, you know, the mission and service of the country club is a full-service municipal country club, offering a variety of recreational opportunities to the community, including the 18-hole golf course, the driving range, the tour simulators, pro shop, youth programs, bowling alley, dining, private function spaces, professional lessons, summer camps, and hopefully we can add the pool by the end of the FY '27 as well. We'll look to provide a superior recreational experience for all guests through high-quality facilities, programs, professional instruction, and exceptional customer service. And I just wanted to shout out to my staff that we were recognized by a online golf advisor that we were ranked 14th public courses across the whole country based on 226,000 reviews, based on value, conditions, and offerings of services to people.
Layout, pace of play,
Yeah.
staff friendliness, and off-course amenities.
So, so we're very proud of, obviously Chris is a big part of that, who is on tonight, and Jake Silver and the rest of the team at the country club are part of that. So very proud of all of their efforts have been recognized by a national organization. So we also provide through the lease for the restaurant in the function space, we provide, the catering services, the functions, and the restaurants. And it's the new vendor has a whole year under their belt at this point has done a great job. And I think the quality of the food and the experience for people have been really outstanding for this past year. So implementing improvements from the golf course master plan, we're in the process. We're very fortunate to get Tyler Ray, who is a nationally recognized designer, to come in and look at the course and provide updates and provide us with a master plan going forward. And when the pool comes down, the old pool comes down, we will be able to have, he'll design what that space will look like and how the public will now interact to the course and to the country club. We also have in our budget this year is some $15,000. We increased our irrigation system money. The irrigation system's over 20 years old at this point in time, so we put an extra funding in there because we were beginning to have a lot of breaks. So we're going to try to, begin the process of upgrading a lot of the irrigation system, and then restoration and improve to forward tees as the public, those older folks and people beginning. Are now, playing into the 80s. We have over 27 members that are over 80 years old at the country club. And they have been using the forward tee boxes, which were designed to be very small because way back when they designed it, there weren't a lot of women playing. But now all the, the seniors are playing the forward tees. So we need to look at that and kind of create it and make the game more accessible for beginners and, and older active members that we have in the public as well. This is my organizational chart. We have 8 full-time employees, and then, of course, a couple part-time bowling staff, a bowling mechanic that is part-time as well, and then we rely heavily on our seasonal grounds crew and our seasonal staff for rangers, teachers for lessons for the clinics that we run with the rec, and then also, the pro shop staff as well. So it's, we're very fortunate that we have a lot of people that come back, a lot of talent that has a lot of experience coming back every year. And we're able to, patch it together with some people that leave and then other people that come back year after year, and then new people as well. So we're very fortunate to have some pretty dedicated, even though they're seasonal, dedicated staff. You can see our revenue is so it kind of goes up every year. This year, we anticipate by kind of taking a few initiatives, we will increase. We've increased our rates marginally 3% for our permit holders, and then we went up $5 across the board for all greens fees. So we anticipate that will raise revenue, but also take an initiative to get a new point of sale system and tee reservation system that should allow us to generate additional revenue at a lesser cost. So that's kind of what we're looking to do in FY 26 and 27. So that should be help with that revenue to get that up closer to 2.6 by next year. So one of the things that we do is we do provide, even though we're doing a lot of capital improvements, we do take that out of our operating budget. So this year, for instance, we did purchase, I think, $657,000 worth of equipment last year. With that bond payment is going to be coming due in FY 27. I thought I was going to get another year without it, but they were able to bond out at a very good rate. And thank you to Laurie and Katie for taking care of that. So we're very fortunate to get a good rate, and we're going to be making a payment next year on that bond payment. On my budget, if you look at the budget overall, we consolidated some accounts. We have turf applications. We had 7 different accounts when you look at fungicides and lime and seed and all those sod, all those different categories. So what we did do is we kind of consolidated them all into one, because a lot of times every year it depends on what's happening on the course as far as what we need for turf applications. So we consolidated from 8 line items down into 1 line item, and that's where you can see like a lot of them are zeroed out, but then fungicides went up to like $175,000. The salary increase was a minor increase, about 3.3%, but what we've done with that as well is that we have one of the things that accounts for step increases, but also our mechanic this year has gone from part-time. He was 3 days a week last year. He's now full-time. We had a change of personnel there. So we had to bump that salary up for the mechanic, which is in the wages full-time line item of the $637,965 is the assistant golf superintendent. He's rolled up into that account. We also have some funding in this for pool operations, as we anticipate that being open in June of 27. So there'll be a couple of weeks of operation where you have to get a manager on board and, get some people trained up in probably the last week of June that you'll have a full operation of lifeguards. But there'll be a ramp up where the pool is new. You're going to have to do some additional training. So we do have some funding in this budget for that, in the event that we ever needed some funding for that operation. And we talked about the irrigation. So that's about it. It's a pretty straightforward request of about 3.3% overall for budget increase, and a lot of that is due to the bond payment and the increases in wages.
George, anything to add?
Pardon me?
Anything to add?
We're very happy with what Kevin has put together for us here, but one of the things I'd like to point out is that we're really excited about the master plan for the golf course. We did a master plan for the facilities a little over a year ago, and that gave us a blueprint to do some of the things we did on the buildings now. And I think the master plan for the golf course sets a course for us over the next several years strategically to make it a really better facility. And if we can improve the product, we can improve the revenue. And that's been our goal ever since I've been on the committee, and Kevin's as well. So I think that we're on the right path here, and our committee is really focused on that. We're looking at the overall strategy, and we're leaving the day-to-day operation to Kevin, and it's been a really good combination. It's worked well for us.
I will say one of the things on the master plan too, which we've struggled with, is the driving range. It's kind of, a wetland is right in the middle of it, so it makes it difficult to operate. So what we've done is we're going to be looking, with the design of the golf course architect, to kind of take his experience and what he's seen in other places to see if we can kind of reimagine that space to generate additional revenue as well.
We're also really looking forward to the pool operation. Years ago when we had the pool, much smaller facility, we've actually got a little revenue set aside for picking some equipment and things that we might need to get the pool operating. But we met with the Recreation Department and Tom just recently, and I think we're going to have a good combination of people to help operate that pool and make it a really nice facility for the town. It's going to add another dimension to the facility to really make it a multi-use recreational facility that we had once, and we're going to have a better facility now because of it.
And we are putting bid documents together to do the demolition of the old pool and pro shop. And we're in the process of moving the pro shop up to my office in the small conference room in that building. And so that will be kind of the start of, that building, decommissioning that building and moving forward to do the demolition.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Acknowledge
Yeah.
Chris Riley too, who's on. And, we couldn't be as successful as we are without, Chris Riley and also Jake Silver, who does a wonderful job as far as the golf course superintendent.
Well, thank you, Kevin, George. Thank you, Chris. Congratulations on the national ranking. That's pretty amazing that we were 14th in the nation. That was great to hear that. We heard that last week. That's fantastic. Restaurant's great. A lot of great things happen at the country club, so thank you. Let's return to Liz, see if you have any questions.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you, Kevin and George and the committee, and congrats to the whole team, Chris and Jake. Really, really impressive. Thrilled to see that ranking, and I think it's something the whole town can be proud of. The budget makes sense to me. I just want to make sure that I'm seeing the debt service line that you were referring to, Kevin.
It's
On page 10.
Is it the debt service
Yeah.
principal there, the 132?
yes,
Okay,
I think so. Yes,
so it's the same as last year?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you look at. Yep.
And just out of curiosity, I know you mentioned that the rates or the permits are going up slightly. I think they're still
3%.
relatively low.
Yes.
How do they compare to the other municipal courses? Do you have any idea?
We kind of do an annual survey, and the one thing that's kind of unique is that every municipal course does it differently. And we have tried to kind of see where we land. If you looked at what we offer, we're kind of probably on the higher end, but I think the experience that we have at the country club is different. And having the two tiers of the unlimited and the limited, I think is is kind of the difference. And, having that access to the morning. A lot of times people have like Monday through Friday permits, golf permits at clubs, where we have, the ability to book any day during the week, 7 days a week, and you just pay a little extra for that weekend experience in the morning. So we have looked at what others, and I think generally speaking, it's kind of, we are probably higher, but at the same time, as I said, I think our experience is better as well.
And we hadn't raised our green fees too in about 3 years, so.
Right.
$5, I don't think is going to break the bank.
Right. And we have over 800 people on the wait list, so.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it's a good move, and
So Bill, if you want to get it before you retire, you should probably join.
It'll be 801.
no, but I appreciate you thinking so strategically about the club and the master plan and the funds, the revenue that you need to support that.
Great.
No other questions. Thank you.
Julie, any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for doing a great job with the South Shore Country Club. I am not a golfer, though I have taken lessons from your staff, and they're great. They're very patient, and maybe I'll get there someday. But I also love the restaurant, and I love bowling, which one of my questions is about bowling. I wanted to ask, I know that we'll get to capital outlay in several weeks, but the HVAC system for the bowling alley, is that still going to be on your request for FY27?
It won't be because of like all the different projects we have going on, we've kind of pushed back all our capital requests for FY27. Because we do have, potentially the pool and hopefully the pool being built. We also have the demo of the building as well. So we have a lot of things going on. And so we just kind of decided to kind of push everything back, take a year and digest all the different projects that we have, and then kind of pick back up, the different projects that we have. And we have invested significantly in the buildings. We put the new roof on, did the back wall over the last, year and a half. So we have done the windows on the front of the building as well. So we put about $700,000 into the buildings, almost $750,000 into the building. So we continue to do smaller projects, smaller window projects and in the exterior to keep the envelope of the building in good shape. And then, we look to attack like the bowling alley air conditioning, because it is like 40 years old and it needs to get addressed.
We're upgrading the electrical system too for the facility. I think we have like 7 meters there now. We'll end up with 1 meter.
Right.
And it'll be a much more efficient system when we're done.
Yeah. In their infinite wisdom, when they built the pool, they put the electrical service through the pool into the bowling alley. So now that we're knocking that down, we have to bring a new line in. And we've been working with Steve Girardi from Hingham Light. And they've been very helpful with assisting us to move forward with that part of the project.
Okay, great. A question for you about where, I'm looking in the budget line items for the pool and where you put the,
So I put that in the R&M and grounds, which is, and the reason why we did that, because we're going to be responsible for doing the landscaping and some other exterior surroundings of the pool area for the completion, like fencing and things of that nature. So that's why I put it in R&M grounds. So that is one of the line items that I put the money in there for that work to be completed. Like one of the things when we were looking at having to save money for the pool budget, we did do on the maintenance building, they expected it to cost $125,000 to do the landscaping. And we were able to do that in-house for $25,000 just by buying the plants directly through the state-approved contract. So we're able to save a significant amount of money there, and we're looking to do that for the pool to save additional money as well to keep it under budget. So we're looking to do, our staff do the landscaping. Chris, don't tell Jake I've said that.
and then the hiring of the startup staff, would that be in a different line item?
Yeah, so that is in the grounds. I'll be able to utilize funding in that line item for that. It shouldn't be, it's only about 2 weeks of salary, so it should be a small amount.
Okay.
I do have some seasonal money as well. My other seasonal accounts, I can be able to, if I need to utilize that, I'll be able to utilize that funding as well.
Okay, and then just a quick question about the golf carts. So there are two different line items. One is for renting or leasing golf carts, and then there's another golf cart line. And then I know that on capital outlay that you have a plan for FY '28, or you did, for electric golf cart purchases.
Right.
So
part of the master plan is to move to electric carts, and, part of the vision for having zero emissions. So what has to happen first is we have to knock down the building, and then we have to build a cart barn that is equal to the size of the one that we have, and probably a little bit bigger. So there's several steps to get to that point and to electrify the fleet that we currently have. So what we did is we've done short-term leasing so that we can, get to that point. Once we get to that point where we have the facilities to support an electric fleet, we will then move to that. We can get rid of our leases and then go to the electric carts in full time. So we have a 3-year lease now, and one of the things my request was for additional 10 carts. And the reason for that was because the old gas carts that we had, they are about 10 years old, so they're breaking down constantly, and they become a maintenance headache. So we figured if we'd lease another 10, because when we have those bigger golf tournaments, we need additional carts. By having a more consistent, fleet, we don't have to have the expenses of bringing in the outside services to do the maintenance on it. The other thing too is that we spent about $6,000 last year in renting carts because we just didn't have enough, and we didn't have enough reliable carts. So by doing this, we'll eliminate the $6,000 expense of renting because we will have them for the whole season, and we'll be able to utilize it. And we'll also be able to auction off those other old carts. Even though they're 10 years old, we probably still get a couple $1,000s a piece. They sell for a lot of money no matter how poor the condition is.
okay, those are all my questions.
Great.
Thank you.
Any members of the public have any questions about this agenda item? Can you bring up the Zoom, Art? All right. Thank you very much. Good to see you all again.
you.
Thanks for all you're doing. Great
Thanks for
job.
coming.
All right, next budget is the Ware River Water System. We have our Water and Sewer Superintendent, Russ Tierney, with us. Russ, good to see you again. I've seen a lot of you lately. Last Wednesday. It is a good thing. Very good thing.
So I'm lucky. How's everybody tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So we're here tonight to review first the Ware River Water System budget for FY '27. Our expenses for this fiscal year will be about $15,211,382, with expected revenues of $15,541,151. That includes the proposed rate increase and capital assessment to cover the cost for the debt service for those projects that are about to start. What is our mission and services? To provide outstanding customer service to our customers in Hingham, Hull, and North Cohasset, while continuously supplying the highest quality water and improving the water system infrastructure. What do we do on a regular basis? We treat about 1.2 billion gallons of water per year. We do distribution system operation and maintenance. We currently have billing services, 24/7 customer service, emergency repairs, capital improvements, public outreach and education, and conservation. The Ware River Water System was set up as an enterprise fund, which is self-supporting municipal account entity that separates the revenue and expenses of the water system services from the general tax-supported budget. In short, we take the rates that we charge our customers and the revenue that we get from these rates to operate the system and also to perform capital improvements. It operates utilizing customer and other supporting fees to cover direct, indirect costs, debt service, and infrastructure maintenance, ensuring long-term financial stability for the utility. This model allows for dedicated financial management, separating utility debt from the municipal debt, and ensuring that the water fees and other things are reinvested back into the water system. I put up our organizational chart, which has not changed very much. I did add Liz in there because Liz has been a great help from DPW with some of the stuff that we've been doing. My favorite word and phrase in the office now is Liz. And then she comes running in, but she does not. But Liz has been a great asset to us. She only does it part-time, but she's been a great asset. What are our benchmarks? Again, like I said, we treat about 1.2 billion gallons of water per year. We have 200 miles of water main. We do about 25 to 30 repairs of water services and water mains during the year. We maintain 11 water sources, including the Akron Pond. About 1,150 fire hydrants are inspected and maintained. 15 fire hydrants and 10 gate valves were replaced. We have bumped that up from a few, we first started was 10. We do about 15 a year now. We do about 310 system gate valve inspections. We are trying, very hard every year to reduce our unaccounted for water, which is now down to 14.9%. I won't have this year's numbers until another month or so from last year's numbers. And we do a biannual system-wide unidirectional flushing program. What are our key initiatives? Well, we want to improve water quality by implementing preventive maintenance programs. We want to continue with our water main replacement program. We need to do water treatment plant upgrades and continuous repairs and evaluation of the treatment plant. We started a PFAS evaluation of the water treatment facility, which we can talk about in a minute. We have improved our GIS and GPS program. We've gone through an entire, we had as Tom would put it, we did have what did we have? Wow, lost my train of thought for half a second. We got a grant for GIS. We've completed all our field work. They are now working on putting that all together and giving us a very nicely updated GIS system. We are going to look at utilizing the GIS system for asset management. The asset management program we have right now is not what I would call the best for what we need. It does its job, but it could be better. So we're going to look at that through our GIS system. We are still, working on the new water storage tank, the new booster station. We are implementing the capital study report. We review and recommend improved metering system, which we just got 7 bids for. We narrowed it down to 4. I'm trying to narrow it down to 2 or 3 that we're going to interview. So we have another meeting on Thursday to talk about that. We did get 7 responses, though, which is a great number of responses. Equipment upgrades, improved preventive maintenance, and then customer service and billing transitions. Capital improvements. I know you guys heard this about 12 times in the past couple months, but I'm going to go through it one more time. We have reduced our unaccounted for water to 14.9% by all the capital improvements we've been doing and keeping an eye on everything with the water meters. We've replaced 23,500 linear feet of water main, which is about 2.2% of our water mains throughout the system. Then about 12,700 linear water feet recommended by the master plan. 6,000 of our water mains are added to create loops and improve water quality. 15.5% of the water main recommended in the 2022 master plan has been replaced. 84 additional fire hydrants, 6 additional flushing hydrants, which these are smaller hydrants. They're not made for fighting fires, but they're about a 2-inch hydrant that we put at the end of some of the smaller streets so we can flush out those streets when we do our flushing program. We've replaced 102 inoperable fire hydrants. We've replaced 11 operable gate valves, and we've added 18 new gate valves to the system. What have we done at the water treatment plant? Replaced all the media, replaced all the under drains. We are right now doing an ongoing pipe rehabilitation and painting program where the pipes down in our pipe gallery were not painted in a very long time. They're starting to scale and things like that. So we're having them having them stripped, sandblasted, repaired and painted right now. We replaced both centrifuge units. Our PFAS levels are well under the 10 that the DEP looks at for when you have to go to monthly sampling, but we're well under the 20, which is required by the MCL. Our lead and copper levels are well within compliance, and we've replaced in a bunch of aged pumps that were in the treatment plant over the past 5 years. We do have a proposed rate increase, capital debt service assessment. We did have a meeting about it last year, but in order to continue the needed improvements and upgrades and operation of the maintenance of the Ware River water system, we are proposing the following increases or assessments to take effect July 1st, 2026. A 3% rate increase and a $65 per year capital debt service assessment. The capital service debt assessment, the $65, is for the storage tank, booster station, and rehabilitation of Turkey Hill. That's exactly what it's dedicated for, that $65. That is per residential account. All our other accounts like municipal, commercial will also contribute to that, and there'll be a different rate for those customers. And then on the bottom, I did put the graph in that I put in the presentation about how much things have gone up over the past 5 years. So since our last increase that was included in the approval of purchasing the water system since 2021, we've gone up significantly on a lot of different parts of our water system that we need meters and things like that. The biggest one was, I think Julie mentioned to me, was the 45% of the meters went up. Meters skyrocketed. I don't know why, but they did. They went up 45% since we've been here. Our expenditures, so again, $15,211,382,000 would be the budget we are requesting for this year. It is an increase of $774,000. That's, a lot of that is the debt service that we're starting to accumulate from all the work that we've done over the past 2 or 3 years. We did bond a bunch of things. And that is a 5.3% increase from last year. So the average 8% increase will well cover what our 5.7% increase is. And that'll also give us a little more cushion to do more work and probably bond more stuff next year. Yeah, great. And then to the budget, each line item. Do you want me to go through most of these, or you guys want to ask questions? I have no problem going through it.
Why don't you do like an overview? You don't have to go line item by line item, but if you could hit the big items, that'd be great.
So one of the bigger increases this year, well, we did add engineering support, but that was in with our GIS line last year. We didn't have an engineering support line item, so I put it in with the GIS support, which we had. So Katie and I worked on getting that to where verbiage that should be understandable for everybody. And that is for Matt and JR to assist us in some of our projects. One of the biggest things that, I know it's on the sewer side, but Matt was very instrumental in the Route 3A sewer project. Also, JR can now be on the booster station project, he can be our OPM because it's below the threshold of what the town would have to go out and hire an outside OPM. It's below that, so now JR can be the OPM for the booster station, will save us some significant money on the booster station. The contract for Veolia is increasing because last year it decreased significantly because we moved some money over to switch the billing. We did put the billing off one more year, so that 7.8, that percentage increase is mostly the jump from the old five-year contract to the new 5-year contract. There was a pretty good sized increase with that. R&M line items for like hydrants and mains, we flip those every year, so it does look like one went down significantly, but one went up significantly, but we flip those each year to focus on each part of that system each year. R&M vehicles did go up. I did add more to that budget because we did add 2 more vehicles for the meter readers, which are electric vehicles. Hopefully there'll be no repairs, but I wanted to make sure we did have enough money in there. And I believe that's the biggest. That's about it. Everything else is pretty level.
Great. So Russ, thank you.
Yep.
So I know we had the.
Sorry, Bill, I apologize.
yeah.
Debt service for capital did go up 39%, but that's because we bonded a few things and moved it from short-term debt to long-term debt. So,
Great, thank you. I know that we had the meeting last week about the recommended rate increase. Tom, it's my understanding that, looking at the bylaws myself and talking to John Clofton, our vote tonight would be the vote to,
That's right.
if it's approved by town meeting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Once this budget gets approved, those rates will be approved. in essence.
Okay, yeah, just want to make sure that was correct. All right, and, some great success on the reduction of 14% unaccounted for water. I do really believe that the flushing program has helped a lot, and replacement of those old valves has helped a lot.
I would
We-
agree. Yeah, 'cause
We've
we
had some
flushed.
very cold weather.
When we
And-
flushed, we got very minimal complaints because the program is designed to flush out during the night and get it out and not leave it residual in there. And when you close the valves and operate the valves, it pushes all the water out. And we've also had, so one of you guys asked me about water main breaks. We haven't had any, but we've had 3. But there hasn't been a lot of water quality issues because of the good flushing that was done this past fall. So we continue with that program. It can only get better.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that in the spring, you can kind of build on what we did last fall with
We're going to
looking
hit
at
high service in the spring.
high service lines. Yeah,
Which is
great.
South Hingham, because that's our smallest service area. And we don't like to, like I talked about before, we do not like to flush the biggest areas in the spring because we're moving into summer, which is our highest demand. We'll revert back down to Hull in the main service, which is this part of Hingham, in the fall.
Great. Well, thank you, Russ.
Yep.
All right, with that, I'll turn it over to Julie.
Thanks, Russ. I'll echo, Bill mentioned about how we had the water rate increase hearing last week, and we met as water commissioners. And Russ, you did a fantastic job in your presentation, where you outlined even more in more detail about all of the capital improvements and all the maintenance that you do on the system to make it better, and the fact that we can keep reinvesting in our system. It's really going to pay dividends over time, and it already has. So I recommend anyone who wants to learn more about the water system and all the good work that has been done and that it is planned for the future, including the new tank in Hull on Strawberry Hill. The meeting was recorded by Harbor Media, so it was last Wednesday, January 28th. So I recommend tuning into that. It's really good information.
The presentation and the letter are now up on our website.
Oh, great.
There's a news flash. Kate did it, so that's there, but we also put it into where all of our documents are, so it's in there also.
Okay, great. So one quick question for you. In other contracted services, you budgeted for last year the 583.
Yep.
But then that was for HMLP billing services starting in I guess because you were anticipating it starting
We
in
were anticipating,
2025. Yeah.
Yep.
So then that funding was not realized. That was just that was unspent, or did you?
No, I have to move it back up to Veolia. I'll be covering some of Veolia's costs.
Yep.
That 583 was Veolia's portion of the billing, so I'll move that back up. I'll just use it when I get my last couple of bills with Veolia, so it will be reutilized up to Veolia's contract services.
And then can you just, I want to make sure I understand, for the R&M fire hydrants and R&M water mains and services, you're swapping it. So basically you're spending a little bit more in one category 1 year, and then the next year you're spending a little bit more in
So every
another
year I
category.
flip the two of them, both of them.
Okay.
I just keep flipping them back and forth.
Okay. And then just one, so last question, the debt service.
Yep.
The debt service for acquiring the water company, the acquisition, do you happen to know what year that goes out to?
It was a 30-year note, so we should be
30-year.
25, so 25, 24. So 24 years from now.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be here. I'll be
don't know if
here
any of
in
us
the
will be
world, but I will not be here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 24 years. I think it's 2040.
Okay, great. That's all I have. Thank you.
Liz, any questions?
Well, thank you, Russ, and
welcome.
the department, the team for all you're doing. I echo Julie's comments. Last week's presentation was very impressive, and for people that haven't been following along, the slides if you have time to go through the meeting recording, it's just a great way to understand how much investment has been made into our infrastructure and what that means in terms of high quality drinking water. So thank you for all of that. I just wanted to kind of make a comment about department head salary. So 25% has been moved to sewer.
Correct.
So this represents 75%. And then you mentioned JR. Maybe this is even a question for Tom. Where is JR's salary represented?
DPW.
DPW.
So we do
Okay.
a transfer from our account into DPW's to cover that. And
Okay.
it's not really JR either, it's Matt too.
So
Matt,
any engineering support?
yes, because Matt, we're looking for some more field work for Matt to do, and JR and I sat down one day and said he could absolutely help us with what we're doing in the utility part.
Okay.
So it's working out very well, actually.
Okay, great. And how much time do you think the OPM, serving as OPM of the booster station is going to take?
JR told me maybe an hour a day.
Okay.
It's a very small building. It's not anything like we've done so far.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very
Okay.
limited.
Great. Well, I'm glad
yeah.
you're able to use his talent
Yeah,
and
it's
expertise
definitely a
and
good
save
thing.
costs.
It's definitely a good thing.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
Sure, yeah, of course, yeah. Keep going.
Just jumping on the OPM, though you'll have an OPM for the tank.
Yeah, you don't need an OPM for
You don't
the
need
tank.
one?
No.
Okay.
Because I know it's vertical construction, but it's considered part of the water system, so you don't need it. It's not a building. The building is when you have to have an OPM.
Okay, thank you.
Do any members of the public have any questions about this agenda item?
But before you vote, I just want to put out, Brian has been awesome, the assistant superintendent. Since one of our employees had to go out for some surgery, Brian has kind of taken over a lot of the water stuff from me because I've been so focused on the sewer, and he has done an outstanding job. So I just want to give him a kudos for what he's been doing. He's doing a great job.
Great, thank you, Russ. Okay, Russ, we're going to keep you busy here tonight. You got a couple of other things, but let's turn to the sewer budget.
It's my second year with the sewer budget, so I guess no excuses. The sewer department. We have some changes in the sewer commissioners. It's been a great change. I can say that the sewer commissioners have been working great with us over the past 6 months. And we have a really good direction in understanding what we all want to do for the town sewer-wise. So I'd like to, give them a great thumbs up because they've been doing a great job so far. Same thing with the sewer department. We're going to provide outstanding customer service to our customers in Hingham while operating and maintaining the sewer pumping and collection system. Sewer department maintains about 30 miles of sewer pipe, 13 pump stations in Hingham, providing sewer service to customers in 2 districts. The North Sewer District is our biggest district, which is about 2,500 residents, and that's pumped directly to the MWRA out of Stoddard's Neck. And the Ware River Sewer District, which is about 180 residents, into business, which is pumped down to the town of Hull. The town of Hull agreement is coming up in the next 2 years, so we're going to be very busy working on that to get that redone with the town of Hull. What do? We do daily inspections of the preventive maintenance of the pump stations, routine inspections and cleaning of the sewer lines, inspection and rehabilitation of sewer manholes. We implement the capital projects, billing services, which is done by Liz through the DPW, emergency response and resolution, and public outreach and education. The 3-member elected sewer commission oversees the policies and budget of the sewer department and sets customer rates. The sewer budget operates as a special revenue fund where sewer rates cover the sewer expenditures each year. This year, our proposed revenue is $4.23 million, and our proposed operating budget is $4.097 million. We have a capital outlay budget, which we requested last night, of $736,000. And then we have $5 million in FY27 capital expenditure based on Article 18, which was the $13 million for the Route 3A improvements. I'll talk about that in a minute. Our organizational chart has not changed. And this is what it looks like for the water and sewer department combined. So Brian and Steve as assistant superintendents. Liz has absolutely been, again, great help with the office management and part of the sewer department. We have Veolia operating the water side, and we have Weston and Sampson operating the sewer side. Like I said, Weston and Sampson has done a great job in their first year and a half. We did get a full report from them on every single pump station, exactly what they recommend needs to be done for each one. We have a meeting next week. We're going to start implementing some of those repairs and upgrades this year because we still have the money left over for this year to do those things. So we're going to start station by station and do a complete upgrade of those stations for what they recommended. So we're going to start that in about a week. Our key initiatives to maintain all the pump stations, ensure proper operation, maintain a collection system to mitigate the potential of backups and surcharges. I can say with all of the rain, snow, melt off, and everything we've gotten, we have had no backups. So it's good. Our sewer main replacement program, which is ongoing on Route 3A, we do have a few more in the works for the not next year, but the year after. Some more sewer manhole rehabilitation, pump station upgrades, introduce our GIS capabilities for asset management. So we're going to go the same route we went with the water department. We are going to apply for a grant for asset management for the sewer. The same grant that we just did with the water is coming out again, so I have our consultants working on getting that for us. I think the cover might be about, the in-kind services might be $25,000, Tom, but I'll let you know once we know what that is. Review recommended new metering system. So we have some pump stations that aren't metered, and what that does is we use the pump hours and the flow rates of the pumps, calibrating the pumps to get the flows. We are getting new meters in there that are high-tech meters that will meter everything accurately, so we don't have to go through all these calculations to find out what we're doing. We have been doing this for a year now. We have 2 more to go in this year, and then after next year, or the year after, we should have them all upfitted with these new meters. And then equipment upgrades, we're improving the preventive maintenance objectives. Next one is the manhole rehab. This is what a typical manhole rehabilitation looks like. The manhole on the left is not rehabilitated. A lot of infiltration inflow, which means water that is not sewer water is getting in through the sides. We bring in a company that does a spray kind of coating on them, and it seals it all up, and then we redo the invert, and we're back in business. This can all be done while the sewer is active. You can do it while sewage is flowing through it. Capital improvements, the Route 3A force main. The force main has been installed all the way to about 200 feet past the new public safety facility. That's about 800 feet longer than was first designed. We have decided to go a new direction with this because after talking about cutting the road, the depth of the existing gravity main, the cost for the cuts, the cost for the backfill, and all those things, we realized that it may be much less expensive, or at least less expensive, to continue the force main all the way to Stoddard's Neck, then clean and reline the gravity main from the police station, fire station to Stoddard's Neck. this is going to do two things for us. One is, one of the biggest costs of replacing the gravity main was we were going to have to bypass pump. And bypass pumping from our Broad Cove pump station, which is our largest pump station, would have required 3 or 4 very large pumps sitting out on 3A all day pumping sewage from manhole to manhole. We also added about 800, we were going to add about 800 feet of 8-inch ductile iron pipe, which would be part of the bypass program. But by doing what we did, we eliminated that 8-inch ductile iron pipe. Where River Water System purchased it from the sewer department, now we have it in stock for our own jobs because it's the same pipe that we use in the water system. And again, Weston Sampson is now working on that final design. So the brunt of this project is done up till the fire station. Now we're continuing inside Broad Cove Station and doing some upgrades in there, 2 new pumps, getting the new meters in, and that project should wrap up within the next couple of months besides final paving, which is being talked about now. Line items. What's that? Yeah. No problem. Wages full-time, 10.5% is assistant superintendent and 25% of my salary. So there's a little bit of increase there because both got a pretty good bump this year. So everything else is staying pretty level all the way down. We did remove uniforms. The only big jump will be absolutely in everywhere else that we'd go is the debt service for the principal main and piping, which is the Route 3A project. We're going to bond some of the money that we already borrowed, so that's going to be a big jump. But we can definitely handle within the budget. And see our total increase in budget is 9.2%, but again, the majority of that is 100% on the debt service for the capital work. That's it. Any questions?
Russ, when is you said the 3A project will be done in the next couple of months?
The next month, we're not on 3A anymore.
Yeah.
We're in the pump station, but that will be wrapped up for phase 1. Phase 2 is under design right now, which will be 2 parts. I'll call it phase 2 and phase 3. Phase 2 will be continue the force main up to Starter's Neck. Phase 3 will be clean and line the existing gravity main.
Great. And to pay for that, it's going to still be the federal money we secured?
We've used up all of our ARPA money, and
Okay.
it was a huge help. I mean, we
was a
can
huge
thank
help,
them up
yeah.
and down because of the $5 million we spent, we've only had to borrow $2.5 million because we got $2.5 from ARPA.
Okay.
That was a great help.
Great. Well, we combining the operations under you, sewer and water operations have been very successful. And I think the project this summer, the 3A project went as well as it could be expected. I know a little inconvenience for motorists, but overall it was a very successful operation given what we were trying to do, replacing that line down 3A. So well done to you and JR and what you accomplished this summer. It was great.
The best thing about it is anytime we had an issue, we didn't have to go through 15 channels to get it resolved. It was right off the bat, the one water line broke while we were down there. We just turned that crew right around, took them off the sewer job. They fixed the water main within 2 or 3 hours, nothing, crazy. A couple of mismarked things. Again, this crew was a water and sewer crew. So the minute something happened, we just decided just to let them pull off the sewer, fix that, go right back on the sewer. So it was very efficient the way it worked out. So
There were a lot of logistics with
we were.
equipment,
And like I said,
lane
Matt was a
closures,
huge help down
Yeah.
there. He was there every day, checking on everything and keeping us informed. So it worked out very well.
even doing the repaving every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
repaved every night.
Lot of
but it-
work, yeah.
A lot of work, so thank you, Russ.
No problem.
Liz, do you have any questions?
Just a comment. Thank you for seeing those efficiencies in your leadership, Russ. It's just a question about the projected revenue. Does that include a rate increase for sewer customers?
So unfortunately, we don't know the rate increase until we get the MWRA's rate increase.
Okay.
Last year, they actually reduced by 2%. I don't think we've had any significant, because it goes a lot by if we have a lot of peaks throughout the year. So basically, if we have a lot of peak flows, our rates go up, that we have to pay the MWRA. We haven't seen a lot of peaks yet this year. We just got the last report. It looked pretty good. So we're hoping they either stay level or not. I anticipate a little bit of a bump, but I don't think it'll be significant.
Okay. And when will we hear?
We usually know that by May, which is
May.
unfortunate, but that's when we hear from the MWRA what the next year's rates are going to be.
Okay, thank you.
Julie, any questions?
Yeah, so phase 2 of the Route 3A force main. So if we don't have any more ARPA funds, how much would you expect that last stretch to cost?
Right now, I'm looking at what we talked about was, I think it was 6 million.
6 million? And where does how is that appropriated?
That's been appropriated with the $18 million that we did at town meeting 2 years ago.
Okay.
So there
that's
is
part
that
of
money. I'm sorry, 18 million. I go back to the tank. I think it's 14. Hold on.
Yeah, it's,
I got a lot of numbers in my head. It was $13 million.
Okay, so that's part of that package.
That's part of that packet. And then once we're done with all that and that gets out, if we have any left on appropriation, we're going to look at doing another, going in and moving that appropriation
Okay.
at a later date.
So another part of 3A that I know you're working on with the water mains is the part where by the bathing beach.
Correct.
Is there any sewer work anticipated to go along with that, or is there any
So-
sewer there?
It's funny you should ask that question, Julie. I did have a meeting last week and I directed our engineers and crews that do the inspections. They're going to inspect those sewer mains from the Rotary to North Street because that's all we have. So right now, the only sewer main in Route 3A is from North Street to the Rotary.
Okay.
It ends right at the Rotary. There's a manhole. But we are anticipating a small extension for a little bit of help on the other side of the Rotary. But again, we will inspect that. If it needs to be done, we'll figure out how we're going to get it done. Last time it was inspected, it was in pretty good shape. So the worst case could be a cleaning and lining, and there's not a lot of flow through that main, so it might be okay.
Okay. And then finally, on one of your early slides, when you're talking about capital, you cited $736,000. And in the ClearGov, it's a smaller number, the 576. So I was just wondering if that, it just hasn't been updated yet because we haven't.
You know what? I'll double check that. I did it so long ago. We did have a little couple of glitches with ClearGov. There was a couple lines that I wasn't seeing, but Katie and I straightened it out on the water side, so I'll revisit that today.
Okay.
We did move a few things around, but one of the biggest things we're doing with the sewer department is the capital wasn't laid out in a way where it was easily explainable. So Katie and I developed 4 specific capital improvement columns, I'll call them, for us to do each year. And that way there it's more explainable of how it works and what they're doing. It wasn't just, looking at one big number, and now we've broken it up into 4 different categories.
Okay. I know that you and I talked about how putting in the notes is tedious, but it was very helpful, both
thank
the
you.
water
You're
budget and the sewer budget, to put in those notes. So thank you.
I forgot about the notes.
And
Honestly.
Katie, thank you for all of your help to make things more efficient and more clear inside these budget line items. So thank you. That's all I have.
Do any members of the public have any questions about this agenda item? All right, seeing none, we'll next turn to unemployment. Russ, you can stay up here because we're gonna get back to you in a second here. Unemployment, Tom, Katie, do you want to take that?
There was a joke
I paused for a second. I was like,
Unemployment budget.
unemployment budget.
Yeah.
So unemployment compensation is we budget it for eligible employees. This is a shared expense between town and school employees. When you look at sort of the history, it's about 75% of the expense comes from the school side and 25% comes from the town side in terms of the unemployment claims, which mirrors our employee population. Art, if you scroll down a little bit to the chart, not that one, but right below this, you can see that when you're looking at historicals for unemployment, it's obviously based on what the claims are in any given year. It is highly variable in terms of what we see year to year. It's a little bit like snow and ice in terms of which employees are going to be making claims. So when we budget it at a baseline level, and then in many cases we lend out if we are experiencing higher levels in that particular fiscal year, using the reserve fund for the balance of the claims at year end. So if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see that the actual budget for this year, we're proposing $50,000 in terms of the FY27 budget. In the past, we've seen average claims from 23 to 25 at 86,500. And so it's difficult to predict where we're going to land for FY27, but we're budgeting a baseline of 50,000.
Great. Thank you. I mean, if we, under budget, we could always reserve fund transfer money in, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the variability factor that it's just hard to predict. One employee can widely swing that one way or the other.
Right. Julie, any questions?
Can you just tell me what the consultant services are? I know it's flat every year, but what is that?
So we do have a consultant that helps us with our unemployment claims, so it's a small amount. That's what we
Okay, so
budgeted.
they
now.
process the
Yeah.
claims. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Liz, any questions?
No questions.
Any members of the public have any questions? All right, seeing none. Before we go into item 9, which is discussion of possible vote on the 2026 annual town meeting warrant articles, Katie, do you want us to do the agenda item related to the sale of bonds? Want to do that now? Because I know that,
Yeah, that'd be great. Lori,
Yeah.
Lori is here with us.
okay, Lori's
Yeah,
here too, great.
Exactly.
All right, Lori, do you want to come up? Great. Not really.
Loaded question.
Well, Lori's getting set up. Julie, your question about the budget, the capital for the sewer? You said 650? You said 650,000 you saw?
Earlier in the presentation, at the beginning of sewer, it was 750 something. But then it was 500 and something.
I got it. Okay,
I'm seeing the difference.
yep,
Yep.
I'll correct that. You got it. Go ahead, sorry.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to item 10. We're gonna hold item 9, as I think Katie has to get to another meeting. So next item on the agenda is to vote to approve the sale of the town's general obligation and refunding bonds and bond anticipation notes drafted February 12, 2026, and signed related closing documents. So Katie, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. I've promoted Janet Morley, and we've got Kara Adams. Janet is from CMA, who are our financial advisors, and Kara Adams in the wings is our bond counsel in case there's any specific questions. So tonight, we're asking, as we do this time of year, for your approval for the sale of general obligation bonds, the refunding bond, and bond anticipatory notes, otherwise known as BANs. In January, the rating agencies reaffirmed the town's double AAA rating. That allowed us last week to access the markets. We had a very positive reception to the 3 offerings that we made with competitive bids. The town was able to access the market and at the lowest cost of capital possible for the 2 bonds, the 1 bond anticipatory note totaling $67.2 million. I'll pause there and see if people have questions. Otherwise, we can talk a little bit more about the authorization that we're asking you to sign.
I have no questions, Liz.
No questions. Just thank you, Katie, for all your work. And I know Janet has worked with us for years on this and has been such a trusted advisor. And certainly having that triple bond rating has helped us immensely. So I just want to reiterate that fact for the public. And we had discussed this before and planned on doing it in February, correct? This is
Yes,
a
so
continuation of that same process.
that same cycle. So we have our bands, other short-term bond obligations, and they come due in February. So we do our borrowing now so that we obviously can repay the existing notes, and in many cases, we roll forward a portion of those short-term notes to the following year. And then at this point in the year, we also know where we are from a looking forward in our budgeting process, anticipating what we're going to complete in terms of projects, so we can add new money, we can bond. So this has been our historic process to do this in February.
Yes. No other questions. Thank you.
Great. Julie, any questions?
I was looking through this on Sunday and I was like, I wrote notes. I know I had questions. I cannot find them anywhere. So if it comes to me after we go on with the presentation, great. But anyway,
Yeah.
thank you.
Great.
Go ahead.
I don't really have anything to add. I guess, I would say that, the one thing that we did a little differently this year was the refunding on the 2015 bond. It was a recommendation that capital markets made. And as a result of following through on that as part of our borrowing this year, we were able to achieve debt service savings on that particular issuance of close to $15 million of $100,000 in annual debt service. So that was a really great recommendation made by CMA and obviously a benefit to the town That particular refunding is 82% excluded debt and 18% non-excluded, but it is savings to the overall community.
Great.
Thank you. Lori, anything to add?
No.
Great. Janet, anything to add?
No. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Had a great sale last week. Wonderful effort by everyone at the town as usual. And as Katie mentioned, that AAA rating affirmed once again, and not only the highest long-term ratings, but also the highest short-term rating available on those bands. Great market access for this sale on the bonds and the bands. We had, just to give you a little color, we had 17 bids on the refunding bonds. Great result. The true interest cost on those refunding bonds was only 2.2%. As Katie mentioned, that's going to save the town $100,000 in budgetary savings every year for the remainder of the term of those bonds. The bands, also exceptional market access. We had 12 bids on those bands. Very unusual to see that much activity on note sales of this size. And the net interest cost on those bands, 2.299% this year. Short-term rates have been coming down of late, but that's the lowest short-term rate we've seen in years, frankly. And we sell a lot of bands. We sell bands every week. This is the best I've seen in years, so congratulations. Very happy with that. And then the other issue, the $8.9 million bond issue. Again, those were very well received by the market, tremendous amount of support and competitive bidding. Great success. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you, Janet. Yeah, that was great news on the AAA rating last week. So thank you very much for all your hard work, Katie, as well, Lori, and the entire team. Thank you. All right. Any further questions from the board?
I have a quick question. Are you going to go first, Liz?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, Janet, while you're here, I wanted to ask a question about when we went out for the recent rating that we did from 2 agencies and not 3, which we have had in the past. So if you could explain the rationale behind getting it from 2 agencies this time.
Sure. And we've been doing this for a little while now, just using 2 ratings instead of 3. Of course, every time you apply for a rating, there is a cost, and it's significant. It's quite a bit of money, frankly. There is not a need to have every bond rated by all 3 rating agencies. You have great market access and great acceptance, and it saves a little money for the town. Actually, not a little money, a fair amount of money for the town not to get all bonds rated with 3 ratings. You still have 3 AAA ratings. As long as you have bonds outstanding from all 3 agencies will review the town and its credit and periodically affirm that rating. So you still have 3 AAA ratings, but in any given bond issue that we do, it's not particularly cost effective for the town to have every bond rated by all 3 rating agencies.
And in terms of cost, I mean, a rating can range from $35,000 to $50,000 per rating. So if you were to do all 3, it could be upwards of over $100,000. And it's not impacted market access. As 17 bids on the refunding and not 12 on the ban is market access that's unprecedented.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it doesn't buy you a better interest rate to get that 3rd rating. It's not cost effective.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And then I have one other quick question. Excuse me. You mentioned that this is a combination of excluded and non-excluded.
Mm-hmm.
And for the non-excluded debt, what would you expect about our debt capacity within the non-excluded debt? Like
Annually.
the annual, so we have the annual budget amount for non-excluded debt, and then we want to do borrowing within that. Is there any ceiling that we're about to bump up against?
So no, but I also am literally just in the process of adding up all of this. So my next project after we get through this week is to really update the full debt service schedule.
Okay.
So I will be able to give you a more precise answer. But when we look at some of the caps that at least the agencies are putting out there in terms of total debt, debt to interest rate coverage or operating budget, we're well below any of the benchmarks that would trigger any concerns about moving off of a AAA rating. I do need to go through the exercise to update the full debt service schedule for ourselves and then compare it, most importantly, to our financial management policies. But I'm not expecting any surprises there.
Okay, thank you.
Liz?
No other questions?
Any members of the public have any questions about this agenda item?
Just procedurally, how we're going to do the vote.
Yeah, so
I was just gonna ask Kara, if you want Kara's there, I think you can just vote this as printed, but Kara Adams.
So Kara, the vote language extends about 3 pages, so we could read it. Can we just vote it as presented? I don't know if we can. I mean,
I think there's an alternate. Oh, she put it in here.
Ooh, yeah, there's a table. Do you read the
You have to
table?
read the table. I mean, let's see. Kara, what are your thoughts on that? The vote language exceeds about 3 pages with a lot of information. Can we truncate the vote by saying we would make a motion to accept the general obligation and refunding bonds as presented?
I would recommend that you make a motion to adopt the votes as presented to the meeting. You have them in front of you there. And to direct the clerk to incorporate the text of those votes into the minutes of your meeting.
I have a motion that Sam had provided previously that we did not include, and Kara, not to put you on the spot, but it reads, to adopt the text of the votes as presented by bond counsel and as provided to the select board in connection with the sale of the town's general obligation bonds and bond anticipatory notes dated February 12, 2026, and to direct the clerk to incorporate the text of such votes into the minutes of this meeting.
Yes, that's the language I reviewed. That's fine.
I read it.
So you want to make it? Okay.
All right. Thank you for the help. You saved us about 10 minutes worth of reading. Thank you, Katie, as well.
Thank you, Kara.
All right, let me just get this straight.
So it's the bold in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. But then I would make a motion to adopt the text of the votes as prepared by bond counsel and as provided to the select board in connection with the sale of the town's general obligation bonds and bond anticipation notes dated February 12, 2026, and to direct the clerk to incorporate the text of such votes into the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, Liz?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. Janet, Katie, Lori, thanks for your help. Thanks for being here. Great.
Thank you.
Janet, great work as always. All right, now we go back to agenda item 9, which is a discussion and possible votes on the 2026 annual town meeting warrant articles. We're going to start tonight with Article T, which is water appropriation of PFAS funds. So go ahead, Russ.
Article P, will the town vote to appropriate a sum of money from Article T, will the town vote to appropriate a sum of money from the PFAS Fund, Town of Hingham Fund numbers 2709, be expended by the Ware River Water System for any required expenditure under the PFAS settlement agreements and/or any legal purpose allowed under Massachusetts general law or act on anything relating thereto. What this is the town, actually the Ware River Water System and the town participated in a class action suit for PFAS contamination by 2 manufacturers. And on June 13th, 2025, we received our first installment of the settlement. In September of 2025, we received our second installment, and those 2 installments totaled $2,993,966 Over the next 7 years, we will receive an additional $1.1 million in annual increments. In accordance with Mass General Department revenue, we have set up a separate revenue account and will utilize the appropriation for the purpose of PFAS mitigation studies, recommendations, designs, and upgrades within the Ware River water system. That's what the article's for.
Okay. And I'm sorry, can you just expand, so what are you going to do? What's the mitigation we're going to implement as a result of, with
So
the
the,
funds?
the PFAS regulations are set at 20 milligrams per trillion. In 2031, we're going to have to meet the number four, so it'll be 4 parts per trillion of 2 of the 6 PFAS chemicals. What we'll have to do is do some renovations or upgrades to the water treatment plant to meet those numbers. So the first thing we need to do is to do a complete review of the plant, the capacity, and what our PFAS results look like right now. Then we have to project what our PFAS results could be within 6 years. And then what we have to do from there is then look at some recommendations from our engineer, which will be here in June or July. From there, we have to look at, do we have to do any upgrades to the plant? So what this money will do is, instead of us having to take it out of capital or our operating budget, we have this PFAS money that was part of the settlement to use to get to that point.
Great. Well, it's great to be able to do this. I know, Liz, you and I have been talking about PFAS mitigation for like 3 or 4 years now, so it's wonderful we have the ability to do it. And hopefully the equipment that we'll need is going to be within budget of the funds. So fantastic. Liz, do you have any questions?
No questions, but fully support this and want to stay on an aggressive timeline. This is important to our residents and water customers that we stay way ahead of the government guidelines. So thank you.
Julie, any questions?
Well, first, I'm happy that we have funds that we can put towards mitigation, so I'm glad for that. I just have a quick question. So is the article asking to expend the $2 million that we've already received?
It's what it's doing. The article is we got the money, and what we have to do is, by the Mass General law, the town has to appropriate it to the Ware River water system.
Okay.
Even though it was written to the Ware River water system, the town still has to appropriate it to us to be able to spend.
Okay, so it would be for that dollar amount, the $2,093,966.
Correct.
Okay, and then in the future, we would expect to have future articles along these lines to
Correct.
transfer out the next payments
Yep.
that come in. And then those next payments, I just want to make sure that it'll be a total of $1.1 million
So-
spread over 7 years, or?
I think, honestly, and we could check with council, I mean, the article could, because it's a sum of money. So we could make the sum of money the total of all the payouts. So we don't have to come back and do it again. I do have the schedule, but I can check with town council. The article specifies a sum of money. I'm just telling you how much we have already. So the
Right.
article says, will the town vote to appropriate a sum of money?
I think the intent was to have AdCom suss this out and come
Yeah.
up with a motion that included the number that you needed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll bring AdCom both numbers. This is the number that we have in the bank right now.
That's right.
And then I'll bring them what the rest is, and I'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay, and then just to be clear, that over the next 7 years, a total of 1.1 million
It's
would be the extra.
1.065 million, I think.
Okay, so it's not $1 million.
It's not
a year over
1.1
7
year
million
or 7
exactly.
years.
Here's hoping, right?
There's a lot
No?
of,
Great.
Okay, all
a
right.
lot of little numbers after it, so I,
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
All right, any members of the public have any questions about this agenda item? Okay, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article T, water appropriation of PFAS funds.
Second,
All those in favor, Liz,
Aye.
Julie?
aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to Article U, which is water capital projects.
so every year we go into each fiscal year asking for money to continually replace water mains and do capital improvements in the Real River water system. So which one's this?
U.
I just want to. Will the town vote to raise and appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds a sum of money to pay for the cost of design, engineering, construction, reconstruction, repairing, and or improving the Ware River water system, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereunto, or act on anything related thereto? Typically, we were in the $3 million range. This year was going to be 3.2. However, the cost to replace the water main in Route 3A for the Route 3A Mass DOT project is about $5 million. So the Ware River Water System will request $5 million for the replacement of 9,650 linear feet of 6-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch cast iron and asbestos concrete water main installed between 1917 and 1922 in Route 3A and Lincoln Street. This main is on Route 3A / Summer Street from Rockland Street all the way to Broad Cove. I wrote that wrong, but that's okay. In Otis Street. It'll all be replaced with 12-inch ductile iron water main. The reason why we're replacing it with 12 inches, we have some restrictions along that way. And over the years, they just added new water main, but didn't upsize it. We're gonna upsize it with 12-inch all the way from there, all the way down to Rockland Street. The project is being completed in anticipation of the Mass DOT Route 3A Summer Street and Rotary Reconstruction Project from Rockland Street all the way to Broad Cove. The water main is currently being designed, permits have been applied for, and the bid documents are being prepared. This is all done with other capital money from last year, which I set aside to do the design work. So this borrowing is going to be strictly for the construction and oversight of this project. The water main replacement projects and other capital improvements within the water system will be funded through the enterprise fund and user rates.
Great. Well, thank you, Russ. Definitely needed project. I know it's important we get this done now with the 3A project coming hopefully in the very near future. So it's important that we get this done and replace. You said the line goes back to 1927?
Between 1917 and 1922.
Wow. Great. Julie, any questions?
I just wanted to clarify that this is capital funding, and you've identified, at least in your comments, about what you would use that for. But if the dollar amount cost a little bit less, say it was $4 million to do just the specific,
Yep.
that you would still be able to use the $1 million towards other
The way
capital.
the article's written, we can use it for that project and other projects that we have. But this will be the priority project for next year.
Yep. Okay, great. Thank you.
Liz?
And it's being funded through the enterprise fund.
Correct.
No other questions, thank you.
Any members of the public have any questions about this agenda item? I see none. I take a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article U, water capital projects.
Second,
All those in favor, Julie?
Aye.
Liz?
aye.
I'm also an aye. Motion carries unanimously. Russ, thanks a lot. Good work tonight, as always.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
A busy couple weeks. Thank you.
All right, that brings us to Article W, which is Climate Action Commission. We had, I've seen Brad Moyer's name. There you go, Brad. Good evening. Just state your name and position, name and address as well.
Good evening. Sorry, I just needed to join as a panelist. Brad Moyer, Chair of the Hingham Climate Action Commission. Address is 36 Wanders Drive. So thank you very much. Good to see everybody. This warrant article is essentially a cleaning house provision. So the Energy Action Committee, led by Brad Carr, of which I'm also a member, and its members determined that there was substantial overlap, if not complete overlap, between their activities with that of the Climate Action Commission. We also had some member overlap, which caused some complications with open meeting laws, having to be careful how we engage in public and in private. And so we determined that it probably just made sense at this point to disband the Energy Action Committee and fold its responsibilities into the Climate Action Commission. And further to that, on the Climate Action Commission side, like I said, some cleaning house provisions. We would opt to expand our membership by 2, which would essentially allow some Energy Action Committee members to raise their hands to be appointed to move on to the Climate Action Commission, and then update our voting membership to include the school committee and HML. Previously, they were members but non-voting members, and we determined with a commission of this size and the valuable contributions that they represent, they should also have a vote. And then the last part of the warrant article is simply how the chair is nominated and a vice chair. And like I said, some cleaning house provisions just to make sure that we function smoothly. That's basically it.
Brad, thank you very much. I mean, this makes perfect sense from an efficiency purpose, and I agree with you. There's a lot of overlap, but also a lot of tremendous work by both committees. So we are very thankful for the work of both energy action and climate action and your leadership as well, Brad. So thank you for that. It makes perfect sense to me to make this move, but let me see what everybody else thinks. Julie?
Brad, thank you for your leadership. You've been involved in the energy action and climate action efforts for many years. I think the Energy Action Commission was created in about, 2015, 2014? Was that the beginning of it all?
The Energy Action Committee was created in 2008, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we actually had to do a lot of research to actually get the history. It predated when I started working on it in 2010. So.
Okay. And I remember I was a liaison to Energy Action Commission when we had it was one of the stretch code, early stretch code articles. So anyway, thank you for all of your efforts. And it totally makes sense now with the Climate Action Commission to not step on each other and just have a streamlined effort. So thank you for your leadership in bringing this article forward. And I think it's a great idea.
Liz?
Yes, thank you, Brad, for your leadership throughout the last 15 plus years. And appreciate the Energy Action Committee and all the work that has happened so far. I think this is a great move. Thank you for bringing it forward, and excited for the Climate Action Commission to continue executing and implementing our climate action plan.
Any members of the public have any questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article W, climate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that not right?
Yeah, no, I interrupted you.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Rich, it's good that you were going to read the entire, because W is going to change, so.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article W, Climate Action Commission.
Second.
All those in favor? Liz?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. Brad, thanks very much.
Thank you. Always
Have a good
appreciate
night.
your support and help. Have a great night now. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda is Article EE, which is HMLP Barroom. We have Tom Morahan with us. Tom, good to see you again.
Good evening. Nice to be back again.
For those who don't know, you just state your name and position, if you don't mind.
Tom Morahan, General Manager of Hingham Municipal Lighting Plant.
Great, thank you. All right, go ahead.
All right, so Article EE, will the town of Hingham vote to borrow pursuant to MGL C 44, 88, and all other applicable laws, a sum necessary up to $70 million, together with the cost of borrowing, for the purpose of extending and enlarging the Hingham Municipal Lighting Plant's transmission and substation distribution facilities, or act on anything retaining thereto. So, I don't know if you have questions for me or.
Well, I know you and Laura came a couple weeks ago now and
Yeah.
did a pretty good
Yeah.
presentation. Has anything changed since that presentation about your ask?
The presentation that we gave to you, nothing's changed on that. There were two documents we supplied, so nothing has changed as far as that goes. I did supply another document tonight that just outlines kind of, our plan prior to town meeting to socialize this. And then what we're gonna do, hopefully it gets approved and we go to construction, how we're gonna handle our outreach, during construction, prior to construction.
And bottom line is for residents, it's not going to increase their bill at all.
So we had a rate increase 3 years ago. We had a rate study done that took into account this project with the numbers that we had at that time, which were relatively close to where they are now. We don't anticipate any additional rate changes as a result of this project. We will be doing a rate study this year, so I'm not saying that the rates might not change. We are doing a rate study, but if the rates do change, it would not be the result of this project.
Great. And Tom, in terms of, obviously 70 million is a big number, and the town's borrowing capacity can handle this, no concerns there.
It can, but it will be less than 70 million. There's a component of this, right, Tom?
The 70 million is the bonding that we're looking for. There's two pieces.
It's the authorization.
This project,
Yeah.
right?
But we won't borrow.
There's, Eversource will be building a tap station in Weymouth. that's about a $40 million piece of this project. We will pay for that over 40 years in a monthly charge or something of that nature. So that won't be bonded for this project. We won't be bonding for that money. That would come out of rates, which, again, was part of the rate study done.
Yep. That already increased, great, yeah, great. Liz, any questions?
Thank you, Tom, for being here and being so patient. But we are looking to borrow 70 million.
70 million, up to 70 million, yes.
Okay, that's on top of the 40 million.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I appreciate this additional information and all of the outreach that you're doing. I think people have heard about this project, but I appreciate you continuing to do that. So thank you.
Julie?
I always like to approach these hearings as sometimes people walk in and they see the recording of the meeting or they're online and they've never heard of this issue before. So I was wondering if these quick couple slides, do you have a way to display this and just quickly run us through what the plan is for even just socialization and just a quick blurb about, again, what this is?
So
Thank you.
as far as the project goes, it's a reliability project for the town of Hingham. Right now, both of our transmission lines come in from East Weymouth to Hobart. They're on single poles. The two lines are on a single pole, which is susceptible to weather or, anything really, a train derailment, anything that would take those poles, any one of those poles down or any one of those two lines out. The town would be flat for a number of days until we could get it back. It happened in, I think it was 1989, shortly after. Hobart was built in 86. 89, they had a failure on one of the switches down in East Weymouth. Took out the whole town, and the town was out for over 24 hours. We haven't had any large outages since, but there are times throughout the year where we end up on one line because Eversource has a line out or National Grid has a line out, so we end up on one line. Again, if anything happens to that line, we're flat. It doesn't meet the reliability standards that are set as of now. Years ago, it did meet those reliability standards. So we decided that we would bring a third line in underground from up by the Cornell skating rink, underground through Weymouth, up High Street to French, down French, and up Hobart to a new substation in Hobart State, in the transfer station. Again, it's a reliability project, but if electrification ever does take hold, we will need more capacity in the future. So we're building this new station with the ability to add another transformer in the future. So we have the space to do that, and we'll have the ability to do that to ensure that we have capacity in the future. As far as the outreach, again, we met with Select Board and Advisory in December. February, we'll do an update. You can update our webpage. So there's HEIRP is our project webpage. Any information we have will be on that page. We're also going to do a GM update. So we've done a few of these over the last few years, and just talks about the project, where we are, and what's happening going forward. This particular update will talk more about the need for people to vote at town meeting. Then we'll do a direct mailing towards the end of February. In March, we'll do bill inserts, again, to talk about the project. We'll do a postcard to regular attendees of town meeting. So I have PJ O'Sullivan with me from Rasky Associates. He'll be doing some research to see if we get a list of people that regularly attend, and we'll send those people a direct mailing. And then in April, we'll do another direct mailing to residents to ensure that the word is out there. We plan on doing an informational open house a couple of weeks before town meeting, and then we'll do a final customer email that'll be sent out just before, the week before town meeting. And we'll also do a final postcard for town meeting. So we're trying to, as best we can, inform everyone, make sure everyone knows about this project. And again, that open house is to field whatever questions we have and hopefully makes a smoother time at town meeting.
Okay. And then just one other, thank you very much. Just one other question is, so it's borrowing, so it's going to be a 2/3 majority for the vote at town meeting,
Yes,
but it's not a debt exclusion, so it's not on the ballot.
that's right.
Okay, great, thank you.
Tom, have you been getting a lot of questions at your light board meetings about this project at all?
No, we haven't had, much participation in our board meetings, to be honest with you.
And when are you planning the informational open house?
We're talking about a couple of weeks before.
Before? Okay.
We did that prior to we did a rate hearing at one point, not too long ago. We did that here in Town Hall, so, we'll plan on doing the same. So that people have access and know who we are.
And have you sent out the abutter notices yet about the project? I know that was one of the slides.
We've sent out abutter notices for all of the meetings that we've had up to this point, the public meetings. So we've done that in Weymouth, we've done that in Hingham. In Hingham, we've actually done more than, just the abutters. We've sent out notices to every resident prior to any public meeting, including the siting board hearings.
Great. All right. Liz, anything further?
No other questions.
Julie, anything further?
One last question, sorry, the siting board, you expect to hear the final word this summer?
We're hoping to have final approval sometime in July or August,
Okay,
more likely August, just from what I understand.
okay, thank you.
All right. Any members of the public have any questions or comments? All right. Are you comfortable voting? Liz? All right. I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article EE, HMLP borrowing.
Second.
All those in favor, Julie?
Aye.
Liz?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. Tom, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the last item under warrant articles is Article LL, which is electronic voting devices. So, Tom, you gonna take this?
Yeah, just go straight.
Yeah.
So while Art's bringing that up, I'll preface, there's a 2014, I believe it was, annual town meeting, 2014, the town adopted electronic voting, allowing the moderator's discretion to decide when electronic voting can be used on any specific article that comes up during town meeting. Obviously, he can't do that until we have the physical electronic voting tools, whether it's clickers or otherwise, in the hands of all the voters in the audience. So he obviously has not been able to use that authority yet. So what this article would do would fund a potential procurement to purchase or lease clickers or other physical material or tools to help with our electronic voting, enacting our electronic voting authorization that we gave to the moderator back in 2014. So what I'm proposing, or what's being proposed here is, in Article LL, is up to an authorization of up to $100,000 expenditure to buy or lease those electronic voting clickers. I anticipate that it will be something.
I'm sorry, I meant, can you, go to the first slide? I guess he's.
What's happening? Did I miss something?
You want to go to the top of the slide deck?
Yeah, because you're talking about.
I'm on slide 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he on slide 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can move it up to the top of the deck. There you go.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yep, no, sorry, I didn't realize I was on slide 1. So I anticipate the purchase to be something less than $100,000. I don't know how much it will be less than $100,000. I think we need to do some research. I would recommend a task force be assembled to help us determine what expenditure we actually need to spend in order to get these clickers or whatever other tool we decide we need for electronic voting in the future. In essence, this would be a pre-authorization that will allow the town to move forward with e-voting at 27 annual town meeting. So this will not allow electronic voting to be available in 26. We don't have the appropriation yet to spend money to buy the tools for electronic voting for 26, but this would allow us to move forward with that research and purchase them in time, release them in time for 27. If you go to slide 2. So what I'm recommending is a task force be put together that will be formed by me. This is in essence a research effort. Again, the authorization and the bylaw has already occurred. That whole discussion has already occurred back in, well, I'll get to the justification for that in the next slide, but the task force I'm recommending simply have the job of researching the right way to go about for Hingham electronic voting. What do we want to put in the hands of the voters in the audience? Whether it's a leased clicker, a purchase clicker, a co-purchase clicker with another community, how many clickers do we need? How many anticipated voters could show up at any town meeting? These are all things that need to be vetted. What level of training is going to be necessary for the clerk and her staff, or the moderator, or us, or any tech support we might need. All those types of decisions are going to have to be vetted. And to me, that's a research project from dedicated employees or interested residents that would be able to dig in and research what others are doing across the state. And then I'm recommending that group come back and research and report those findings back to myself and the select board. I'm recommending it happen in or around September of 26. That would give us time to react and ask questions, maybe perfect an issue within the research here or there in time for a November article to be formed, and then to be socialized and certainly submitted by the board if an article were to be desired to be submitted prior to the January 20th deadline next year. Next slide. Just a little background on e-voting. Again, 2014, this was approved. The policy was approved. It was there was a two-part approval in 2014. A, to change the bylaw, which happened, and B, to fund a pilot. That pilot was subsequently voted against the effort to move forward with a pilot, and then the funds for the pilot to research the pilot were rescinded at ATM 15, largely because there were only 9 other communities at the time around the state using e-voting, and the cost was deemed to be too high. Currently, there are 70 towns using in Massachusetts with open town meetings that are using e-voting. So it's a significantly more vetted tool for town meeting voting than it was in 2015. Technology options have improved significantly since then. I've had the pleasure of witnessing e-voting used at town meetings. It feels seamless in those communities. And I've heard good things, some feedback. I've heard the limited research I've personally done, both in Hull and in Duxbury, and I know others have done, have resulted in some of the feedback that I have here. There's a respect for the desire of many voters to keep their vote private, at least a faster and more accurate voting, respect the time of the voters, and potentially increase voter attendance and participation at future town meetings. So those are some of the comments that we've heard from other towns as to why they're using electronic voting. But again, I think that we need, in order to procure the right tools in the right way, I think we need to have a research team spend some time with that question and come back with a recommendation. This article would pre-fund the results of that research, so that we don't have to get the research, put a pin in it, ask for an appropriation, and then buy it for FY28. This way, if the research comes back in a positive manner and finds a tool that we think is appropriate, the select board could simply choose to purchase it or lease. That's all.
All right. Well, I guess certainly there's been a lot of interest in this. Obviously, the bylaw already allows it, so I'm supportive of it. I do have some questions about the integrity of the systems. I mean, I'd like to ensure that the systems would not be compromised in any way. I mean, there are lots riding on some of these votes that we take over the past couple of years of town meeting. So that's one of my concerns. I'd be curious to see how clickers, I guess the voting machines are signed in and signed out. I mean, could someone leave the high school gym and give someone else their clicker, and that person now could have the ability to vote 2 or 3 times if someone kind of just gave it to somebody? I mean, is there a tracking system for signing the machine out, returning the machine when someone leaves? And if there is a tracking system, does that create a public record in the sense that the vote now would be privacy of the vote would be protected when you're actually voting, but can the vote be tied to the machine?
Right.
Right? I mean, if you have a system where the volunteers just giving people machines as they come in, then you probably can't tie it. But if they're signing in and out, yeah. So I get a lot of questions about how that's going to work, and I haven't really had the time to have a conversation with the moderator in depth, but I do think there's enough interest in this article to advance it, and I am supportive of it based on what I've heard. So I'm going to support it tonight, and I'll support it at town meeting. But I think there are a lot of unanswered questions. Our system of town meeting is very, it's in my mind very sacred. We've done it for hundreds of years. It's worked well, and anytime you make a change to it, got to be very careful with those changes. This is a major change, so I'm comfortable that 70 towns in this Commonwealth use it, and some of our neighboring towns use it. To include, as you said, Tom, Hull uses it. Duxbury uses it. I actually had a conversation with the chairman of the Hull Select Board recently, and I brought this up in our conversations, and he did say that he thought it did help to improve the efficiency of the meeting. So if the meeting is more efficient and quicker, that might save us a night on cost too, which has always been something I'm interested in, try to get this done in 1 or 2 nights and not have a third night. So I think this would help there. So anyway, supporting it tonight with some unanswered questions on my end. But Liz, what do you think?
So I do think there's obviously research to do here, and I think that's why Tom, the town administrator, is suggesting appointing a task force. I think there has been a fair amount of research since 2015. I believe the League of Women Voters has studied this recently. So, look forward to digging into that and seeing what the recommendations are. I do think it's important, and I have heard from many residents that they would like to keep their vote private. There are a lot of sensitive and personal situations at town meeting where people want to be respectful of their community members and neighbors. So I do think it's important that people feel comfortable and confident voting and participating at town meeting. And I think this can be an improvement in efficiency. So I am supportive of the effort. I'd like it to move forward and see where we land. In terms of funds, am I correct that this would be taken from unassigned fund balance?
Yes, so my recommendation is use unassigned fund balance this year. I don't know in the long run if this is going to be a lease or a purchase, and that, in my opinion, determines whether it's capital or operational. And until we know that, I would recommend just using a one-time take from fund balance to get us the initial rollout of the program, and then on an ongoing basis. For instance, if we end up in a lease, then we would work that annual lease cost into an operating budget.
Okay, yes, that's a great point. Depending on the cost of the equipment, the lease, there may be a software licensing fee that we'd have to figure out how to work that into the budget on an ongoing basis.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
I did have one other question too. I don't know if you know the answer to it, but at town meeting, a quorum is presumed unless otherwise challenged. So if you're late in one of the nights and an electronic vote is taken, and it clearly contradicts the quorum requirement, would the moderator have to adjourn the meeting?
So I asked that question
Yeah.
of both Hull and Duxbury town clerks, and I believe that the answer I heard back was not everyone is guaranteed to have voted. So no.
Oh, so it's still presumed because everyone may not have. Okay, that's good to know. All right, Julie, go ahead.
Thank you. So I am in full support of this article. The idea is straightforward: to appropriate funds that we can bring electronic voting to Hingham Town meetings starting in 2027. I like the idea of the task force, of the town clerk, moderator, a select board liaison, and some town residents. I think it's appropriate to be able to conduct the research necessary to recommend equipment and in what form, buying or leasing, and all the details that come with rolling out the system. Increasingly over the last years, I have observed and heard from voters about the following: feeling less secure in voting publicly, concern about accuracy of vote determinations, feeling that the length of time to conduct standing or ballot votes is dragging out town meeting to multiple nights. After our annual town meeting in 2024, that was a tough town meeting. There were a handful of articles that people felt uncomfortable, reported to me and others that they felt uncomfortable publicly voting on their stance on some of the issues. And so after that town meeting, a couple weeks later, the town of Hull had their town meeting. So I went to the town meeting and I checked in as a guest. And a friend of mine who lives in Hull brought over to show me what the electronic voting card is. It's a little plastic card that's attached to a lanyard. You know, that's their system. They've been using electronic voting for several years. It was very interesting to see this in action. And it's kind of straightforward that there's a discretion of the moderator. So people love the idea of both voice votes and the history and the custom of town meeting where you say aye or no. And some of the simple articles, you can still do a voice vote. And it's up to the moderator, if you have electronic voting system, to be able to determine, well, we've had a really robust and potentially thorny discussion about this issue. I think it's a good idea to vote this article using the electronic voting devices. So there's the possibility of sort of a hybrid blend of being able to do the traditional voice vote with using the electronic clickers. And anyway, so I support moving forward on this article. I will note that the League of Women Voters is currently studying this very issue, and they have a position in support of electronic voting. And so there are organizations and partners out there who can help us in our study. So.
Great. I think Julie's going to be the liaison from the select board.
It was one of our election promises.
I know.
Right.
Well,
All right. Well,
I'm happy to nerd out on this.
all right. Any members of the public have any questions or comments? Oh, Liza O'Reilly. Liza, name and address, please.
Hi, Liza O'Reilly, 44 Florette Circle. I'm here on behalf of the League of Women Voters. I serve as the chair of the steering committee, and as Liz and Julie both mentioned, our league recently gathered people together to research electronic voting. Our league takes the position that we support the implementation of voting systems and procedures that are secure, accurate, recountable, and accessible. And so based on that position, some of us felt, we knew electronic voting was being discussed, so we're very excited about this warrant article. Our research focused on, since we knew that there were 70 towns, we looked at our benchmark towns that Hingham uses for salary negotiations and other comparisons. And we looked at those towns, and as well as Duxbury, that have the electronic voting for open town meeting. So we interviewed the town clerks of Andover, Duxbury, Marblehead, Sudbury, Weston. We still have outstanding appointments with Hull and Concord, and we tried to get Westwood but couldn't connect. And so a lot of the feedback that you've heard is what we heard. We looked at the different systems of, the towns that purchase or lease, and there was a split of, depending on the capabilities of the staffing in the town halls and the technology available where they host their town meeting, and also storage space. And so there were pros and cons of leasing versus purchasing. So we're in support of having a committee follow up to figure out what is most appropriate for Hingham from that standpoint. I also, we do have some list of questions that we can share with the committee on what we feel would be decision-making questions to look at. One of the issues that you brought up was about tracking the devices, and actually very few devices have not been returned at all of these towns, like 1 to 5 devices over the many years. And people were very responsible and even turned them in a day later if they walked out with them. The voters did very much like seeing the results of the votes and had a lot more confidence in the votes, whether it was a 50-50 margin requirement or a 2/3 requirement. One other thing that we found, and we've heard this in Hingham, of rumors of guests or visitors at the meeting that they would shout out if it was a voice vote. And what the clickers would, a guest or a visitor would not be assigned a clicker. And so their vote, there would be no way for them to influence the vote. And that would build confidence for the members who were there. Also, from an accessibility standpoint, for anyone with a disability, a voice disability, or not being able to stand at a standing vote or going up for a ballot vote, that this clicker would also support them. So there are a lot of many positives about this. And I think that, as you mentioned, Bill, one of the challenges is training. And I think that can be determined by this committee, and also the lead time going up to town meeting of getting people comfortable with it and being able to share and teach people how to use the devices. Also, we feel that the funding that's allocated seems appropriate based on the research that we did. We did not contact any vendors in our research because we felt that there were a lot more questions that the town would have to answer. We also found that when implementing these systems were most effective when it was initiated from the town staff, and that the town staff, whether it was the clerk, the moderator, the town administrator, town manager, when they were involved with the process, then it was very seamless and welcomed and worked out very well in the town. So that's just a little preview of some of the work we did. We're going to be sharing it with the advisory committee liaison, and we'll communicate to the town, but the League of Women Voters is in favor of this article.
Liza, thank you very much. Appreciate your research and your comments. All right, with that, I would take a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend favorable action on Article LL, electronic voting devices.
Second.
All those in favor, Liz?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that takes us to appointments. Any appointments this evening? Liz?
I don't believe so.
Julie?
No.
Any members of the public have any public comment? General public comment, items not on the agenda? All right, not seeing any. Turn to Town Administrator Select Board reports, and I'll start with Art.
Thank you. I do have one this evening. I just want to share a positive economic development, if you will. In December, the State Economic Assistance Coordinating Council awarded Hingham Company, Yankee Trader Seafood, a $500,000 economic development incentive program tax credit to support an expansion. The company is targeting 65 Industrial Park Road to purchase and convert it to cold storage and manufacturing operations. All in, the investment is in the $7 million range, and they're projecting creating 33 full-time jobs. So it's an important move into a vacant building that will certainly help strengthen our new revenue stream, but just as importantly, demonstrates the South Shore Park as an important location for business.
All right, thank you. Tom, anything?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Julie, anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Liz?
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Only thing I have to put out is, as we did the proclamation earlier, Saturday is Lincoln Day. Lincoln Day activities start at 10 o'clock with the muster by the militia out at Hingham Cemetery, and the ceremony starts at 11. So looking forward to seeing people there who can make it. I think my colleague's going to be there, so it should be a fun event. All right, with that, I would
Go
take
Pats.
Go
Also,
Pats.
go Pats.
Yes, go Pats, obviously. Yes, go Pats. It's a big one. It's interesting they're playing right after Lincoln Day, so it's patriotic.
I know.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, Liz?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Have a good week, everybody. Take care.
We recognize that taking time to visit, call, or email our town departments to report issues in Hingham doesn't always fit your schedule. Are you looking for an easier way to communicate with the town? Well, now there's an easier way. With the My Hingham mobile app, you can submit service requests or gain information with just a few taps of your phone. To get started, simply download the My Hingham app from the Apple App Store or Google Play, or simply scan our QR code to get the access to the app that's best for your phone. Once you've opened the app, select the Submit a Service Request button. From there, you can choose the type of request you want to submit, whether it's a pothole, a fallen tree, or something else. You'll then be prompted to take a photo of the issue and provide a brief description. You can also use the app to track the status of your issue and receive updates. Using My Hingham puts immediate access to town resources in the palm of your hand, including calendars of meetings and events, agendas for upcoming meetings, building permit filing options, online bill payment options, information about our boards, committees, departments, and services. So why wait? Download the My Hingham app today and report issues and get information on town government with ease.